Welcome to Ray Reads, a podcast where I discuss the books I am currently reading. For this episode of Ray Reads, I will be discussing King's Cage, Book 3 in the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. I would like to begin with one random comment before I get into the more serious discussion of this novel. Samson's interrogation, rather his psychic torture of Mare, reminds me of Naruto, of how Itachi uses that genjutsu against Sasuke as a child, forcing him to witness unspeakable horror again and again and again. Similarly, Samson violates Mare's memories, compelling her to relive the worst moments of her life, including the death of her brother Shade. Samson and Queen Alara are simply evil. Alara is cruel especially, to her own son. She constantly invaded the privacy of Maven's mind since he was a mere infant. Alara spent so much time meddling with his head that Maven is unable to differentiate between his own thoughts and those Alara had seeded. Only his throne, composed of silent stone, offers him a safe haven, a sense of autonomy. Most people with abilities avoid silent stone like the plague. But for someone who was abused by a whisper all his life, the silent stone provides sanctuary. It is difficult to not pity Maven. I am intrigued by Thomas, the deceased friend of Maven's, whom he loved dearly. Were Thomas and Maven friends, or was their relationship romantic? Either way, I would love to learn more. Thomas died in an explosion when Maven accidentally lost control of his ability. It's no wonder Maven is so messed up, considering how tragic his past is. Perhaps that is another reason as to why Cal is determined to save his little brother. Everyone else is all too eager to permanently put down the boy king. Only Cal holds out hope for discovering a new blood capable of healing Maven's mind after all the damage Alara wrought. It would be fascinating, yet terrifying, to observe how powerful a new blood whisper equivalent would be. While Maven should be held accountable and punished for his own crimes, he also deserves to have this chance for healing. Cal's determination to save his damned little brother is the sole thing I appreciate about him in this novel. Just like in the previous book, Cal gets on my nerves. Despite his reluctant alliance with the Scarlet Guard, Cal still prioritizes silvers above reds. Even after all of the suffering he has witnessed, all of the people he has encountered, everything that occurred since Mare dropped into his life, Cal still values silver people over red people. Cal never once second-guessed marching red soldiers to their deaths in the choke. He accepted red suffering as a necessary evil. Now, compare this to how he views the war against his precious silver monarchy. don't get me wrong. I don't believe they ought to butcher every silver they come across. There should be equality that exists regardless of blood and ability. The Kalor monarchy will never foster this type of equality, not even with Cal on the throne. And despite their faults and everything they have done wrong, Mare is drawn to the two princes. Cal and Maven are obviously flames, and Mare is the moth. She should know better than to be attracted to them. She is playing with fire, and someone is always bound to get hurt. And considering how Mare is unable to protect her own heart, it is likely she is going to experience more heartbreak. Thankfully, Mare has people like General Diana Farley to help look after her. Farley is the one who provides her with birth control. Farley herself is extremely pregnant, but nevertheless kicking ass and earning a promotion within the Scarlet Guard. I wish Farley had her point of view portrayed in this series. Every other perspective comes from people with abilities, and I think it would be worthwhile to have a point of view from someone without powers, someone who is powerful even without ability. This story is all about equality, regardless of blood and ability, so I find the lack of red perspectives, not new bloods, disappointing. Farley and Kalorn really ought to have chapters from their own point of views. Nevertheless, there are indeed other perspectives I do appreciate in this novel. Cameron is definitely one of my favorite characters. In particular, I love her criticism of Mare and Cal, as she echoes my own thoughts. Cameron is not here to tolerate their bullshit. Chapters from her point of view are like breaths of fresh air to me. The other point of view I appreciate here belongs to Evangeline Samos. I was surprised to like this character, and now I actually want more from her point of view. She is becoming a well-rounded character, someone more than a shallow, power-hungry bitch. Evangeline may not care about a lot of people, but she would do anything for those she loves, for her brother Ptolemus and her lover Elaine. As a side note, it pleases me that Evangeline has her own point of view as a sapphic character. I have read too many stories where any queer characters are merely in the background and easily overlooked. So, I truly appreciate Evangeline's perspective. The final note I have here goes back to Farley. It is touching how she names her daughter Clara after her mother. It is a reminder of how much Farley has lost throughout her life. she lost her mother and sister, which has resulted in her also losing her father in some ways. And then Shade dies too, adding yet another heartbreak for this young woman to bear. Her life has been characterized by tragedy, so it's no wonder that she is so devoted to the Scarlet Guard. My girl deserves better after everything she has been through. All in all, I would say that King's Cage is my favorite book in the Red Queen series. This is where the series fully grasps my attention, and I love just about every second of it.